So this week on Last Round at the Cantina, we're talking Star Wars Outlaws, which is out now on PlayStation, on Xbox, on PC. And we're asking the question, has Star Wars Outlaws delivered what fans wanted from the game? It's the first open world Star Wars game. You can go out there and explore the galaxy. Um, a number of planets that we're all familiar with and ones that we're not. And you can go on missions, work for the Hutts, work for the Pikes. You are the outlaw of the game, and the world is your ocean. But does it deliver what fans wanted? As with anything Star Wars at the moment, it's got a lot of online hate videos. We kind of largely ignore them, and you bury down to get what I'm going to call real fans' opinions. And that doesn't have to be positive. Real fans can have negative opinions as well when you get rid of all the rubbish. And the Metacritic scores sitting around about 72-73%, and the directors of the game have kind of said that they're a little bit disappointed with that, but they're going to keep working on the game. They're analysing the game, what people are doing, where they're struggling. They're changing the game to create a better experience for fans. So they're working really hard on it, Paul. I don't know, are you a gamer? Have you played the game? Or what opinions have you encountered online of it?
I'm not really a gamer, but I know my son's been. He took time off work to play it, so he's quite keen. So he got it on day one, and he was telling me the other day about the little side quests that you can go off on and do, and then we were watching a YouTube video, and I think this YouTube video went on for something like it was hours long anyway. It was a really, really long video, and it was basically showing you the game from the beginning. And even then, it's not going to show you everything because there's so much you can do. I suppose the only thing I can equate it to, which again my son had, perhaps a bit younger than he should have had it, but he had it anyway, was Grand Theft Auto. And that is a game that they've tinkered with and added mods on over the years. I mean, I think there's a new version of that coming out soon, but that game has basically lasted probably about 10 years.
Yeah,
a real long time. And there's with this, like you say, they can go into the background and they can change things, they can tweak things, they can add things. That in itself is incredible. I mean, back in the day, you and I would buy a cartridge or a disc for a game, and that's it. You're stuck with that forever. You're not going to get any changes to it. So what I've seen of it, I really like. I think I've mentioned it before. The one thing that I think that they should have done and they could have done, because the people that made this have previously made other games of a similar nature, is I think you should have a choice of character that you play as.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to play as, I don't know, maybe a Wookiee or as a bounty hunter or as a male character. There's the female lead, whatever. I've got no issue. I mean, if that's what you got, that's what you got. But the fact that they could have done it, why didn't they? I can remember playing Tomb Raider back in the day. It was never an issue. But I would just like to have seen a bit more choice for a character to actually go out there and do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's impressive anyway.
Yeah.
What I've seen of it.
And my background, I'm not a huge gamer, but I say that, and I played Skyrim, so Elder Scrolls series, Skyrim being the most recent one, and that's more than a decade old now, and I still play it, and it's an open world game, very similar in concept to this, in that you've got a main storyline, and you can branch off and do side quests, and you can push the storyline in whatever direction you want to. You get a choice of characters. You can customize your characters. Characters can be sort of every different element of the game. Whatever gender you want, whatever race you want. And that's kind of where they should have went with Outlaws, and they haven't. And Paul McHugh mentioned in there, he's been playing it all day, lots of fun, gorgeous looking, and he's obsessed with photo mode. I've played it for about 45 minutes, which was enough time to get through the quest to get me to the ship so I could pick up my rewards, because I've like pre-ordered the game and I wanted to make sure I got the rewards. Well, you needed the ship in order to pick them up. So I've played it to that point. My plan is to stream it, go on there and stream it, and just experience it as it happens live on camera and see what I really think. My frustration with it so far has been it really pushes you on the main quest. And once you're on a main quest, you can't leave the game area. So to me, it's not open world.
Right.
Comparing it to Skyrim, I could be doing 20, 25 different quests at the same time. And you can pick up lots of side quests in Star Wars Outlaws, but it doesn't seem to have that same level of freedom where you can just abandon the main story and go away and do other things. I could be wrong. It could just be that they're focusing you very much at the initial part of the story whilst they're sort of teaching you the mechanics. But I agree with what Paul's saying. It is gorgeous looking in terms of the scenery. I think there's some question marks over, close-up characters, the cutaway segments. Some of the mechanics are a little bit dated. Ubisoft are obviously famed for Assassin's Creed, and you can kind of see a lot of that in the game. And that's a 10-year-old game in itself. So I think people are upset a little bit that it's perhaps not boundary pushing. I don't think it would be, though. With it being the first Star Wars open world game, just the fact that you can go out there and explore a Star Wars world is exciting in itself.
Definitely.
Whether that's Canto Bight, whether that's Tatooine. So, yeah, if you can get out of the main quest, start doing little side quests, just start exploring, I think the game's more enjoyable. I don't like the focus part of open world games where it tries to force you down a particular storyline.
Yeah.
That's just me. Everyone plays different, I think.
I suppose though it's got to have that element to it, otherwise it won't connect to the next part of it. So
yes, yeah, and I think when you talked about could have had different characters, I think the fact that they've really focused, we want a core storyline to this, has made that sort of slightly impossible.
Yeah.
In Skyrim, yes, they've got a main storyline, but it's not necessarily character driven. You could be any one of you have to slay the dragons in effect. In Skyrim, but you can be any character to do that. It's not a necessity that you're a particular character. And obviously, Star Wars Outlaws has gone a different direction. And fair play to them, that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it's the one game that has come out even above and beyond the stuff with Cal Kestis in it. It's the one game that's got me thinking perhaps it's time for me to get a console. So it could happen.
Well, I bought Xbox in the summer when there was a sale on Xboxes because Indiana Jones is going to be Xbox only, and then they announced a couple of weeks ago that's coming to PlayStation. So
you haven't got both, have you? Have you got both?
I've got both now for my sins. Foolish boy. I thought, let's buy the Xbox when it's on sale at half off.
So what do I need to buy, bro? Do I just need a PlayStation?
PlayStation or Xbox, either or.
Either or, okay.
Yeah. And, so I've actually played Xbox for the first time on this game for the short amount of time that I've played. And so that was interesting, getting to know that controller and that controls. But yeah, it's I've been PlayStation all my days from PlayStation 1 all the way through, so new experience for me.
My last PlayStation was the PlayStation 2, so there's been a bit of a gap.
Been a bit of a gap. PlayStation 6 will be along shortly. And so to me, answer the question, has it delivered what fans wanted? Maybe not 100%, but I would say about 70-75%, and that's probably where the score comes in correctly in Metacritics in terms of it being that, because the developers have had a clear idea of what they wanted, and maybe they shouldn't have pushed it as hard that this is a completely open world game. It should have been, this is a story-driven open world game, really.
Yeah.
But I think once you've done the main tasks, the main storyline, you're probably pretty free to go and explore and do whatever you want after that point.
Yeah.
And so I think it will, in the long term, deliver what fans want. And the fact that they're not abandoning the game on day one, they're going to adjust it for the elements that fans are finding difficult. because they can monitor and see the analytics of what people are doing and where they're getting stuck and so
So
on.
there's a chance that that overall score could shift upwards if
Yeah,
the correct modifications are made.
I think so. And
Yeah.
I think the difficulty with Star Wars Outlaws is it's coming on the back of people having played Jedi Survivor, and the graphic elements of that were phenomenal, really phenomenal. But when you're doing an open world game, your challenge is completely different because your challenge is you've got to build the whole world. Where in
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor, you've got to just build the scenes that your character's in. So
Yeah.
when you do open world games, there's always going to be a fall in the level of graphics because the focus of the developers can't be at the same level as you have in a
Right.
game like Jedi Survivor. And you've kind of got to accept that.
Yeah.
But
Well, don't be surprised if I suddenly announce that I've bought myself a brand new spanking Xbox or PlayStation.
yeah, just to
I'll
warn,
blame you.
if you're wanting Indiana Jones, it's out on
Yeah.
Xbox in December. Doesn't come to PlayStation until next spring.
Oh, looks
Can't
like
wait.
it's Xbox then.
For my sins, I've purchased the collector's edition of Indiana Jones, which is the one that comes with the little globe and the little manual and all the little extra
Ah,
bits and pieces. Because Indy is just one of my favorite things, and so I'm really looking forward to that game.
yeah.
Um, I've been a little bit concerned because they haven't heavily promoted it, and they went silent for a really long time, and that's never a good thing in gaming. Um, but I'm looking forward to just over the next few months just to seeing how they promote it and push it. And
What I've seen of it, that does look a really good game.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Star Wars
Looks good.
Outlaws, in the opposite, have marketed it incredibly well and
Yeah.
really thrown money at the marketing campaign for that. And they've been up against people that are going to be down on Star Wars for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I think they've kind of fought through that. You know, people post clips of games glitching. Every single game glitches, and
Of course it does.
the developers aren't abandoning the game day one. They're going to keep sending out updates, and it's going to get better and better and better. And the whole point of open world games is like Skyrim for me. I'm playing it probably 10, 12 years, still playing it. That's what an open world experience game is. You don't stop playing it. I've got a
You
wife and
just put
kid.
me
Everything in Skyrim.
you've put me right off.
Yeah, the kids are teenagers now. Yeah,
Oh dear.
that's Star Wars Outlaws. I think it hasn't delivered on day one what fans wanted. I think day 100 it will have.
Let's draw a line under it there and
Yeah,
say that's what's going
that's what.
to. Let's come back to it in 100 days' time and see where we're at.
Definitely. Last round of the Cantina is a regular feature on Good Morning Tatooine. It streams every Sunday at 9 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. New York. And we also release it as a video on Fantatrax TV after every single episode.